Hi, everybody. I'm Vince Mickens, and welcome to this on-location edition, if you couldn't notice, of All Things Aviation and Aerospace. I am live in Flushing, Queens, New York, on the campus of Vaughn College of Aeronautics and Technology, which is literally across the street from LaGuardia Airport. And it is with great pleasure that I am sitting here with the president of Vaughn College, Dr. Sharon DeVivo. Sharon, welcome.
Oh, thanks so much for being here, Vince. We're really happy to have you on campus.
Absolutely. I have to tell you, when I pulled up to the main gate and I saw the school and I looked left and I saw planes landing and departing from LaGuardia, I'm like, well, this is pretty cool. It doesn't get much better than this. And then when I walked in while I was standing in the atrium waiting for you to come down, and I just looked at the school and I thought, wow, what a jewel, that unfortunately not everybody knows about, and which is part of the purpose of me being here and doing this show. But it really is. It's an incredible school that you have here. You gave me a tour yesterday, a personal tour, which was great because we really thoroughly went through the school and kind of saw a little bit of everything. And wow, I'm like, okay, this needs to be like a template for schools around the country that are really doing a lot for the underrepresented and bringing them into aviation, which we all know is desperately needed to happen.
Absolutely.
So
well, we're really proud to serve who we do. All very dedicated, driven, motivated students who want to contribute to aviation and engineering and management and technology fields. I mean, you're seeing a great representation of those students joining us here today.
Absolutely.
And so excited to have them share their stories.
No, absolutely. Oh, well, I've had a chance to talk with them. They're very impressive. Of course, I'm always impressed with youth, and I'm particularly impressed when they're passionate about our industry, which they are both. And speaking of also somebody that it's going to be great to have joining us is your Director of Career Services, Chaundra Daniels.
Hi, how are you? I'm very happy to be here. And thank you for the invitation. And so happy to see our fabulous students and our president aboard. We're going to have a great conversation today. Looking forward to it, Vince.
Yeah, absolutely looking forward to it. And you also are the co-chair of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee here for Vaughn College.
Yes, I am. I am. And it's very important that we meet those needs of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because it provides an opportunity for everyone to be at the table, right? So at the end of the day, diversity is about diversity of thought. And if we don't have different experiences and folks who represent those experiences, how do we get there? So I'm very honored to be the co-chair of the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee, and we're excited about the things to do to get done at Vaughn.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited to have you as part of this conversation. But we have a few young people here on with us, and they're in different parts of the school, which is really, really neat. And I do want to mention that if there are any technical glitches with our Wi-Fi or anything, I'm going to blame it on LaGuardia Airport.
Yes, that's
yes.
on the arriving and departing traffic.
Plane.
I mean, LaGuardia always gets picked on anyhow. We might as well join the crew. As I was mentioning, the best part is the students here and hearing what they're doing, what their goals are, what inspired them to get into aviation. So let me start out with introducing them and doing something that I always do, which is I'll probably mess up one or two of their names, but I'm going to give it my best. Joshua, you're easy, but is it Harripaul?
Harripaul, yes.
Harripaul. Okay, I almost didn't mess that up too bad. Anyhow, Joshua is studying aviation maintenance to get his A&P certification, Aircraft and Powerplant, along with a Bachelor of Science Degree in Mechanical Engineering. Joshua is live here in Vaughn College's hangar, aircraft hangar. So Joshua, again, hello.
Hi there, how you doing?
Good, thanks. And welcome to All Things Aviation and Aerospace. And then we have Maria Fajardo. Fajardo?
Yes.
The J pronounced H, right?
Yeah.
Sure, I should have checked before, but I didn't. Anyhow, Maria's majoring in electrical engineering, technology, and avionics with an air traffic control minor. And she currently is in the 3D printing lab here at Vaughn. Maria, welcome to All Things Aviation.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you with us. Jewel Fletcher. Jewel is an aeronautical sciences major, pursuing a bachelor degree, and she's also on track to be a professional pilot. And she is sitting in Vaughn College's simulator lab, which has three, not one, but three Redbird simulators, one which was active a little while ago. It looks like it's quieted down for a bit, but what a great place to be, and especially if you're aspiring to be a professional pilot. So, Jewel, welcome.
It's great being here.
It's great to have you. And then the gentleman with the bird's eye view of LaGuardia Airport, who so kindly at the beginning of things was talking about that view as we were trying to get the show started. But at first, it's a great day. The weather is fantastic today, especially after having some rain last night. And then it is an incredible view from that. I call it an air traffic control tower lounge. Is that a good description?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but you can see the entire operation at LaGuardia Airport.
Well, and that's very appropriate for Boyan because so let's see. He's pursuing his AMP certification, airframe and power plant. He has a bachelor's degree that he just finished in airport management, and now he's working on an MBA in airport management. So, Boyan, turn around and look at what you're going to be in charge. I'm just kidding. Look at what you're going to be running one day. Hey, listen, let's keep this thing rolling. Sharon, tell us about the history of Vaughn, because it's pretty interesting what you were sharing with me. And I think it's great for people to hear that. And then we can get into some specifics. And then, I'm really looking forward to the conversation with Chaundra because of what she does in terms of the career side. And she's got one heck of a resume herself. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we were actually founded in 1932 in Newark, New Jersey. And our three founders, George Vaughn, Casey Jones, and Lee Warrender, were great friends with Fiorello. They met him on the boat going over to World War I. And when Mayor Fiorello came back, Mayor LaGuardia came back to become the mayor, he famously took a flight to Newark, and his ticket said New York on it. And he refused to get off the plane because he wasn't physically in New York. Wow. So he decided to build up this little airport across the street and called his three friends who'd set up this primarily aviation.
So he didn't like where he landed and he said, oh, I'm going to build an airport?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Must be nice, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. That doesn't happen every day.
He built the building for us. I actually have photos of him helping to lay the cornerstone for the institution. And so we've been in this location since 1941. So many of your listeners have probably seen us, whether they flew into LaGuardia or passed us on the Grand Central and just didn't realize what we were doing here.
Where did the idea come from for the school, though?
So Casey Jones was a barnstormer, not the engineer, the railway engineer.
Right.
George Vaughn was a World War I flying ace.
Okay.
And Lee was a MIT engineer.
Okay.
And so they were, 1932 is the very early days of aviation, and recognized that there was this real need for maintenance technicians. And actually, we were the largest supplier for World War II of maintenance technicians to the war effort.
Wow.
And so Queens is the most diverse county in the country, more than 140 languages spoken. And so we have always reflected the latest immigrant wave basically to the nation. So there are times when we're all Russian, all Italian, all Irish. Now we are predominantly Hispanic, Southeast Asian, Black, and really reflect more than 80% from underrepresented communities.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like I said, it's a very impressive facility. So let's talk a little bit about some of the programs that you offer.
Sure. Yeah. So we got started with that airframe and power plant certification program and always had a small design.
So that was
our bread and butter.
Gotcha.
Up until the late 90s.
Okay. Wow.
And that small design program, so that we are one of the longest continuously accredited engineering technology programs in the country. But that was the impetus for engineering programs. So today we offer an MBA, like Boyan talked about, Master of Science in Airport Management, and then a variety of Bachelor of Science degrees, 4 different engineering kind of degrees, pilots, engineering technology, so Avionics, the program that Maria's in, aircraft electronics, aeronautical engineering, and management degrees, so general management, but also airline and airport management, and then that airframe and power plant. So everything from a technician to an MBA, and
Wow.
everything in between.
So speaking of that on the career side, Chaundra, tell us a little bit about what you do for Vaughn College and how you help these kids, navigate and focus on their careers.
I keep the lights on for the kids. So that's what I do. I keep the lights on. And my job is to make sure that, they can articulate and be able to speak to what they've learned in the classroom and translate that into work. And so I totally love my job here. Vaughn College is a gym, and I'm so happy to be here. And each of these students on this broadcast today have been in my office at least once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. But it is a very wonderful place.
Yeah, you cut out there for a second. There you are.
We were one with our students to be able to assist them. Okay, where I'll be able to work with them, and our team is able to assist with resume development, more so interviewing, how to have the conversation, because interviewing is a conversation, not an interrogation, and help them feel comfortable and confident about what they've learned, and transfer that information to an employer. I also, on the flip side, get to work with employers and letting them know how fantastic our students are, and bringing them to campus and finding ways that they can get in front of our students and share their brand and also share their job opportunities. So I'm a job broker. Basically, I'm between students who are looking for jobs and employers who need jobs filled. And this could not be a better time to be in aviation and aerospace because the jobs are there. Every one of these students on here can tell you the job opportunities that they have afforded or have been offered. And we're very proud of that. Last year, we had a 92% placement rate for our students. So we're very excited about assisting them and not only finding jobs of their dreams, but assisting them and maintaining their jobs and understanding where they're going to be.
Yeah. Speaking of the job opportunities and things like that, Sharon, yesterday you were telling me about what you guys do with the students to send them to opportunities to network at like major association events and things like that. Can you both talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So our Student Experience Fund is really an awesome opportunity for our students to get out into the world, to showcase their talent and skills, and to, while enjoy the benefits of a small institution, also get the benefits of larger institutions. So for instance, students go to Women in Aviation, National Society for Black Engineers, Society for Women Engineers, robotics competitions. They're eligible to apply for one of these kind of trips a year. And they can network with companies, often get internships. Chaundra's office prepares them for that trip and what their resume should look like, how they present themselves. And those internships often leads to jobs. So that's where we have been able to get students into. Just had a student complete a Tesla internship, SpaceX. We have a student starting with NASA JPL. We had a student, electrical engineering student, who got an internship at the National Society of Black Engineers Conference with Georgia Power. He now lives in Georgia.
Thus, aeronautics and technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really both. It offers them the opportunity to be showcased in a way that they might not otherwise. And we know that the skill set that you get in aviation has application to other fields. And lots of our students go to Lockheed Martin, Grumman, United, Delta, all the airlines as well. So it's just another way to showcase their skills and talents.
Sure. Chaundra, you wanted to expand on that a little bit?
Oh, definitely. One of the things Sharon talked about was called the student experience. And that's exactly what it is. It's part of experiential learning. Part of academia is really hands-on, and basically it is the best part of learning, right? So you have the classroom, you learn all the technical pieces, but how do you apply this? You have to go out, you have to hear from people in the industry. Part of working is developing relationships, and professional development. Networking is a major part of what the student experience provides. All the conferences, the major conferences, have student chapters, and they invite them to national platforms. And our students are prepared and ready to go. We also provide opportunities for our students to relocate. And so we have a relocation that allows them to be, they are going, once they do secure these intern and employment opportunities, more so the internships, that we can provide them with the easy way. The experience is the total package. And we're excited that we have the opportunity to do that through what we do at Vaughn.
So part of what Chaundra's talking about, and our average family income is roughly $40,000 at Vaughn. So we're talking about incredibly dedicated, motivated group of students who come from under-resourced communities and need some extra help. And so our ability to fundraise to support the Student Experience Fund, to help students who are going to go do an internship but maybe need some funding to put the deposit on a lease.
Sure.
Right? Those things become really important in terms of helping students to be set up for success.
And a determining factor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll give you a great example, evidence of the success of a Vaughn graduate. So there was a study that was done by the New York Times in 2017 that looked at students not right after graduation, but 15 years later. Something magical about when you're 35 that says what's going to happen for the rest of your life. And those institutions that were the best at moving students from the bottom percentages of income to the top. And we were number one in the nation. And so that not only says a lot about Vaughn, but it says a lot about the industry that we serve and their ability to provide this incredible transformative journey for students and their families.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your a couple of the areas, for example, the robotics program, which you guys have been either placing or even winning the competition.
Yeah, so we're really fortunate. We've had since 2007 a BS in mechatronics, which is a robotics engineering degree. And not long after we put that program in place, we had some students who really wanted to do competitive robotics. And so we're part of VEX Robotics. They do the university competitions. And in 2016, we were the world champions. And every year since then, we've been back to the finals, which is so exciting. We host middle school students in the region here. We host high school competitions. And it's just been a tremendous gateway for students into all different aspects. That's how we got students into SpaceX. That's how we've gotten students into Lockheed and Grumman, because employers really want that skill set that comes with understanding mechanical, electrical, and programming.
Yeah. As we focus on Vaughn College and everything that you guys offer, I'm going to come back to Chaundra. Chaundra, tell us a little bit about your background that's brought you here doing what you do in terms of the careers.
Well, I have a very eclectic background, but career services is my heart. I've been in career services for over 15 years, but I started out working with students with disabilities and working and finding out how to find employment opportunities for them. And so I was a job coach, career counselor, and then moved more into development opportunities for diversity. And looking for a director, and I was like, here I am, I'm your number one person. And so we were able to start off on the right foot.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, but being assertive,
my background really is about.
Sorry about that. It was cutting out on my end. I didn't mean to cut you off. Are you with us? Okay. So can't tell if you stayed on the entire system or just cut off for us.
Can you hear me?
We can now.
Here. I'm still here. Can you hear me?
We can now, yes.
It's just going, I can hear you. Okay. My job is to use their confidence and leverage what they know and have, and help them understand that when they go into a place of work, that all they're bringing is what they know and who they are. My background of diversity, equity, and inclusion has allowed me to do more in abilities and having them understand that whatever your abilities are, there's something for you. And I think Vaughn is the best place for me to be and to have the students that I work with, because our students offer a lot from engineering over to aviation. So it's a great opportunity for me to learn. I've learned a lot. All these students that are on this program today have taught me so much in the past year and a half. So I feel like I've been here 10 years already. I'm ready to retire. But they've taught me so much about the aviation field and the aerospace industry. I'm excited, and I'm excited for you to hear from them as well.
Yeah, well, that's a perfect cue for us to actually start talking with them that are all joining us today. So let's do that and hear from some of the students. And I'm going to start with you, Jewel. who's sitting in the simulator lab. If you could tell us a little bit about your, again, remind us of your majors and your background in terms of, just tell us how aviation became an interest to you and how you discovered Vaughn.
Hi, my name is Jewel again. I'm a senior in the Aeronautical Science program. And well, I have a very short story of how I wanted to go into aviation. There was one time when I had a 6-hour flight to England and it was really outside, and the pilots know where they're going, or being afraid from that point on, I decided in my mind that I wanted to become a pilot. So afterwards, my sister actually paid for me to go to like an aviation summer camp in Trinidad, which I attended 2 summers consecutively. And from then, I don't think I ever looked back to anything.
Okay. So you went to those summer camps, and that really got your attention about the industry. Tell us about your experience here at Vaughn.
Well, my experience at Vaughn has been amazing. I currently have my private pilot's license because I attended Vaughn.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I've had a lot of opportunities to network. Like I've been to the Wings Club events. I actually have an opportunity to work with Atlas Air right now because I also work with Career Services, so that's great. And I think that, one of the things that I love about Vaughn is that they give back. So I've had this opportunity to do a Girls in Aviation Day, and me being a pilot is not just me wanting to be a pilot. I also want to be like a person who little girls can look at and, be inspired by, because I feel like I don't have a lot of people like myself to look at. And I just want to be like one more person that they could look at. So, being a part of this school really helps me to become that person who is an inspiration to girls who look like me.
Chaundra, let me go back to you for a second, because that ties right back into diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Absolutely.
You co-chair the committee. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Well, as Jules said, there's 150 Black women pilots in the world, 150, right? So she's going to be 151, right? And so, when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, this is exactly what we're talking about. And Vaughn has the opportunity to not even just talk about it, we're actually practicing it. And so our committee wants to be able to bring students, faculty, administration together to continue our strategic planning on making sure we're not just working on equity. It is part of the process. How do we get people involved? How do we get them behind these jobs that are available? The aviation industry body. And so this is a great time. Inclusion is key for people to go from one level to a next, but to not only do that, but to give back. So all of this is a part of the, and then you have inclusion, and you heard it from the student themselves. They saw it, she rode in the middle of the night. Instead of it being scared, she said, "Let me see how did you guys ride in the night?" Then she found us, and we showed you how to ride in the night and the day. So here she is, a student who actually is a representation of the work we do on our committee. And it's proof that if you really open up your strategy and your plan to be able to be diverse with the people, equitable, put a process in place that all students will have access, because equity is not equality. It's about meeting the students where they are and what they present. So Jewel doesn't present what Bouillon presents, doesn't present what Joshua presents, but we meet each student where they are. That's equitable, and that's in practice. And then we're inclusive, right? Even this program is including all different majors and things of that sort. So we just don't talk about it. It's just not a mission on our website. We actually practice this, and Sharon and the senior administration stands behind it. The charge is important. It continues to be, despite what the world might think, despite where we're going politically, but most importantly, these are representations and examples of how it works in practice.
Yeah.
And I am honored to be able to continue to be on the committee and make sure we move forward.
Yeah, somebody might look at this and say, what's the problem? You're diverse. But this is just one example of diversity.
Exactly.
And it's about a sense of belonging for no matter who comes to Vaughn. And as I often say, this is a marathon we never finish. So we always have to be thinking about this so that everyone here feels accepted, included. And then we foster that sense of inclusion for when they go out into the world and they might be the only. I mean, I just said it at commencement. You belong. You're qualified. You might be the only one when you get there, but don't doubt your ability.
Yeah. Well said, guys. Joshua, tell us about you. You're kind of similar to Jewel on the track to be a professional pilot. You're sitting in the hangar here at Vaughn. So tell us a little bit about your interest in flying, how that came about, and your experience here at Vaughn.
Yeah. So when I was around I think 8, I moved from Guyana to the Bahamas. So my first flight was an 8-year-old going on this plane from one country, leaving to go to another country. And I was just surprised by the fact that a couple hours ago, I was in a whole different place, a whole different part of the world. And I kind of fell in love with aviation from there. I always like working with my hands. So I brought my two passions together, aviation and working with my hands. And I pursued my aircraft and powerplant license. So found Vaughn, came to Vaughn, graduated in 2018, got my licenses. And upon graduation, one of my professors, instructors in the ATI Aviation Training Institute program, the Airframe and Powerplant program, he pulled me aside and he said, I was an aircraft mechanic, but then I made the move to engineering. I think you could do the same thing. If you're interested, let me help you around. And that is what I took. And then I pursued mechanical engineering. And that was basically my
that's your story and you're sticking with it. So how has your experience been, with all the things that you've learned and are learning here at Vaughn?
I mean, I want to say that one of the few things that I can take away from Vaughn is that the atmosphere here is so, not to say inclusive, but it's welcoming. I was an international student from the Bahamas. I graduated from high school in the Bahamas and I moved to the US. I was by myself as a student. I was by myself in a whole new country, but Vaughn made me feel welcome. If I needed any help in any way, I was able to reach out and find somebody that could help me. And it literally really made me feel that I had a place, to feel at home. So I made my new home here.
There you go. Maria, while we're here with your students and talking about your careers and background, tell us about your background. Tell us about the room you're sitting in.
So currently I'm in the 3D printer room. It's used by a lot of engineers. I'm pursuing my bachelor's degree in avionics engineering, and we don't always focus on this. This is mainly like mechatronics, mechanical, every other major.
Okay, and so how did you even discover Vaughn?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, you cut out, so I may have stepped on you. Sorry about that.
I discovered Vaughn because
I know.
So when I got interested,
they can hear her. Go ahead. Sorry.
And yeah, so I always looked up to her as I was growing up, and she became an air traffic controller. She works at John F. Kennedy Tower. So I decided to pursue air traffic control. That's my ultimate goal. Avionics engineering, I sort of see it as my backup, but I'm still pursuing my bachelor's degree in it. And that's what I love about Vaughn, that at the end of the day, regardless of what you're studying, everything connects in a way. And apart from that, they constantly give us opportunities. For example, I went to the Women in Aviation Conference last year in Tennessee. They offer a lot of opportunities just for engineers, for pilots, how to obtain certain licenses. And there's a lot of internships for avionics engineering that I, at that moment, couldn't pursue. It was out of the state. And at the moment, I was mainly trying to stay in New York.
Yeah, we couldn't hear her for a bit. The guy that's sitting on top of the world there in the air traffic control tower lounge here at Vaughn with the great view of LaGuardia and peering out the window for it in terms of his future with airport management, et cetera. Boyan, tell us about you and getting started with your interest in aviation and why you're pursuing it to the degree that you are. I mean, you have a bachelor's degree, you're going after your graduate degree, and on top of that, you have an A&P.
My dream of from the aviation since I started with a very young age, and I was joined the remote control team back in my high school, back in Beijing. Well, at that time, when doing the RC remote control takeoff and landing, well, I crashed a lot, but after I crashed, I fixed that plane by myself, and also like in my home, I collected all of those things. I can build an entire at a year, when we're finishing the stuff. When I graduated with my high school, and my parents they saw my they saw my passions on that in the aviation. So that's just the reason they found Vaughn. They do a lot, tons of research on that one, and Vaughn is the best choice for me. So at that moment, I took the ATI program, Aviation Training Institute, as a aviation mechanics. And when I studied the hydraulic and the pneumatic, all of those engine propellers, turbine engines, all of the stuff, and I never feel bored on that one. And after I graduated from ATI program, the Aviation Maintenance program, I directly take the airport management because Vaughn gave me the hope, gave me such futures. I can see that. It's basically the aviation industry inspired me. And when I took the airport management, Dr. Labner, all of those professors helped me, gave me a huge help. They shared a lot fascinating aviation news and all of those stuff. And then I feel super fascinated, and I found the entire aviation industry were on the age of evolutions. We have the eVTOL, electric power vertical takeoff landings, the sustainable fuel, it's a new type of fuels, all kind of stuff. Feel me makes me feel a decision to I have to take a master degree. I have to have a better and deeper understanding on that program. So that is why I finished my MBA program with a straightforward 4.0 GPA.
No, and that's fantastic that you can continue to pursue that and do that all here at Vaughn College. I wish we had the technology genius of your students to fix my friggin' show problem. But anyhow, there's a common...
If you give them a minute, they will.
I totally believe that. That was not a joke, actually. But there's a common theme here at Vaughn College that I've picked up on since visiting here. I had you on the show a couple of years ago, and I picked up on it then, and then again, the visit here kind of confirmed it. And now hearing from your students today, but they all feel that this school really supports their efforts, their growth, and their ambitions in terms of what they want to do in whatever aspect of aviation, whether it's on the technology side, whether it's being a professional pilot, being an air traffic controller, et cetera. Can you guys talk about that a bit and why you feel that is something that kind of permeates through this school? Yeah, so our vision is to change the world one student at a time with a transformational education that provides a lifetime of opportunity. And that's what that's been infused throughout the institution. We talk as a staff on a regular basis about how do we lower the barriers? How do we create less friction? How do we provide students with a defined career pathway and an opportunity to see what they want to be? And so that happens from the moment you talk to an admissions counselor until you become an alum. And they are a drug I can't quit. To see them interestingly put.
Yeah,
to
see them be so incredibly,
yeah, right.
To be them so incredibly successful, and to feel the impact of the decisions that we make as an administration and as an institution is literally the wind beneath my wings. And so I love knowing their stories. I love having an opportunity to catch them in the hallway and have a conversation.
I tell them all, connect with me on LinkedIn when you leave so that I know what happens next. It's like the cliffhanger, what happens next in your story. And I hope my own children are as successful as Vaughn students.
So this brings me to a point in terms of the students and the parents that are listening to this show right now, watching the show. They're sold. So now, can you drill down a little bit about the process? What do you guys do to bring them into the fray here?
Yeah, well, I would encourage anyone to check out our website for sure, www.vaughn.edu, vaughn.edu. And there you can start to get a sense of what's a degree program I might be interested in. There's also great information about financial aid, affordability. We completely understand for every family is a critical choice. And it's about that return on investment. What is the value? What am I going to see at the end of this? And that's why we put in place a guarantee. So if you graduate from our Airframe and Powerplant or one of our Bachelor of Science degrees, and you stay continuously enrolled, and within a year you can't find a job, we will pay back your student loans for 1 year. That's how strongly we feel about our ability to get you to where you want to go. And so, Chaundra talked about the 92%. That's really in a post-COVID or in COVID world. We are typically between 95 and 100%. I expect this fall, we're going to be back there. I have never seen, and I'm sure you're getting this from your guests too, never seen demand like this.
Oh, the demand is off the charts.
And salaries
in all aspects of the industry.
Yeah, every aspect.
And you guys have, you mentioned them earlier, some great stories to tell. Some of your students going to SpaceX and going to Georgia Power and all of these other
Toyota.
Toyota, exactly.
Right, but also the major manufacturers, all the airlines, not just the major ones, the regionals, the small airlines, general aviation, sort of, you name it, everybody's looking. And that's forecasted for the next 20 years, right? That again speaks to this return on investment.
Yeah.
Families making investments in students' education, whether it's technical education or more academic education, they're going to get that return. They're going to be able to have a great life.
And it's the opportunity to expand that base in terms of diversity, because there's such a strong need for it. Chaundra, you have dealt with a lot of new students, incoming students, and things like that. What can you add to this conversation about your experiences and observations regarding that?
That look at the end from the beginning. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay. See the end from the beginning.
Can you hear me now? Because it's AT&T. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
And I can hear you now, right? So it's seeing the end from the beginning. When you come in, we are welcoming. One of the things that I love about being here is that everyone knows everyone, and everyone helps. No one says, "Oh, that's not my department," or no one says, "I can't help you." We make sure that a student gets what they need, and we have those conversations, the hard ones and the easy ones, but there's always someone here to be of assistance here at Vaughn. We ask our students to be patient with themselves. We ask our parents to be patient with the students. Once you open this door of aviation and aerospace, it's no turning back, because there's so many opportunities for you. The sky really is the limit. You really can do anything.
Literally.
And just literally. So find your niche. And we're here to help. Vaughn, to me, is the perfect school because we can design the plane, we can build the plane, we can fly the plane, we can land the plane. We have Bouillon over there managing the airport.
Running the airport, so exactly. The airport that's causing all of these problems with our technical,
Right, and we're right in all.
That airport's going to get me.
Yeah, I would just add, and Chaundra's kind of talking about that now, is this connection to our employer partners.
Yes.
This is a critical piece of our success, right? So, and Chaundra does a lot of work in this area, but I'll give you a good example. Atlas Air, 10% of their workforce in this region are Vaughn graduates. They are incredible supporters. They've created a pilot pathway program. They've done, which includes scholarships. They support our gala on a regular and ongoing basis, so financial support. I go to their women events. They've had me, I I'm going to be part of a panel that they're hosting in New York City for cargo. That's just a great example of an employer that's really engaged, knows who we serve, wants students, and is willing to help support affordability.
Okay.
Just a perfect example. Delta is another great example of an airline that does that. But those
Absolutely.
relationships help drive curriculum, help drive, the success that students have in terms of internships. And so that's a big part of the picture here is actually having those strong employer connections.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to touch on before we kind of start to wrap things up is you guys have some summer programs coming up.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that in terms of what those programs offer? And
yeah, so we have boot camps for things like cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, engineering. We do summer programs with middle schools and high schools that include opportunities to sit in our air traffic control lab and our flight simulator lab. We have Civil Air Patrol coming this year to sample all the different connections. So they'll get somebody from the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, somebody from Atlas, somebody from Delta. They'll all be here to help showcase and create awareness around the kind of programs that we offer.
Yeah. So I always like to kind of do an around the room as we wrap things up, and I'm going to start with the students. And from this perspective, as students that have either are about to or just completed studying here at Vaughn College, can you just say some final words of advice for some new students that may, potential students that may be interested in coming to the school? What kind of advice would you give them? And I'm going to start out with you, Maria.
Honestly, I would say don't be intimidated. Like for me personally, avionics engineering, I'm the only female in my major. Well, in the classes that I'm currently taking. My freshman year, there was just one other girl. She ended up leaving, transferring colleges. But I think you shouldn't be intimidated by the amount of males that are here or that are in the engineering field. That's my main advice.
Yeah, and before I continue on, another significant aspect of diversity, gender.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and we're when I got here in the late 90s, it was 4%. Today, it's about 13%. And our latest fall class, it was 20%. So I promise, Maria, there's more friends coming.
Jewel, how about you?
I also another aspect of like feeling like the only one. Sometimes people may drop out because it's like too difficult. Sometimes with engineering or aviation, or they might switch majors, or they might feel like it's too hard. But I feel like if you really want something, just don't look don't look this way or don't look that way. Just focus on what you want and just go for it. And also, I would say ask for help, because there's always people who want to help you. I stopped myself from making a lot of like mistakes with like flight training or career stuff by asking for help first and asking for advice.
Great. William?
Well, for my advice, like to all like new Vaughn students, basically never ever miss a single opportunities that Vaughn offered to you. It's basically I'm the founder and the president of Chinese Student Association of Vaughn. Please join the club, and also the MBA AA. Vaughn offers tons of opportunity, and AAAE Club, which is American Association of Airport Executive. That one, we have tons of meetings, the conference, all of the stuff. Please never miss that single opportunity that Vaughn offered to you.
Well, that says it all. Joshua?
Pretty much everybody covered it. Don't be afraid to ask questions or ask for help. You're not in it alone. There's a support system behind you to help you get from point A or the start all the way to the end. So reach out and use those resources, and don't waste any opportunities. Take every opportunity that comes your way.
Yeah, well, all I can say is you guys are like super impressive. All of you students here and some of the other students that I've met, and look like you have very bright futures in the various areas that you're focusing on and things like that. Chaundra, why don't you give us your overview and perspective on all of this?
Vaughn is the best place to be. We have the best students. We have the best president. I'm not just saying that because she's the best president. But we got the
Sharon
best
said
president.
checks in the mail. Go ahead.
Right. And guess what? It's already cashed. It's already cashed.
It's a good one. I like that.
But the come to Vaughn because you want to be here, and we'll be here to welcome you. We are here to help our students be the best that they can be, and come early. Come now. I mean, if you're a junior, if you're a sophomore, if you are interested in drones, you see these things back behind me? Like these things are so cool. And we do all of that. Come and bring your parents with you and see what we have. And if you are coming to Vaughn, we can't wait till you get here.
Everybody heard you, but us. So on you got cut off on some of it. And I'll have to apologize again for all the technical.
But it's the irony of being at a technology school that you're having the technology, and I'm telling you, it's the planes. I guarantee it's just the planes.
Good, you can take that and run with it, so that I can get them off of my back. But anyhow, Sharon, let's wrap things up and tell us, your closing statements about everything here.
Yeah, so I am so fortunate, as you can tell, to have incredible students and also an incredible staff. Anybody that you meet here is super enthusiastic about what we do and who we serve. And so it is, it's just a joy and a treasure to really support students and get them to where they want to go and where they want to be. And that's just a real blessing. So, we hope to have your listeners, take a look at us. And, New York City is an awesome, awesome city, best city in the world to be in, incredible diversity, incredible opportunities. You could eat for some crazy statistics like 17 years straight in a different country every night in Queens. And so it's just it's a wonderful place to immerse yourself. Yeah, Queens is awesome. It's a wonderful place to immerse yourself in. And it's just it's a real pleasure to be here. So
if we kind of wrap to wrap things up, I wanted to get some final words from you also in terms of, so you've been in this a long time. You don't look it, but you've been in the business a long time with what you do here at Vaughn College. Any advice to young people that are in high school, even middle school, that may be contemplating something or have an interest in technology because of the fact that you, in addition to aviation, you do robotics and other things here?
Yeah, I would say, so I was really fortunate. I got asked by the FAA to chair a youth task force that looked specifically at that sort of K through 12 pipeline and how do we grow it, the aviation and aerospace. And so we're awesome in aerospace at doing these great programs. We're just not so good about telling each other about them, right? So this idea
with you about that more.
About being more connected is really key. But I would say for students and families, the ideal we found is at about 10. Right? So get out to your local airport, maybe take a demo flight to see if that sparks some interest. Look and see if your elementary, middle school has opportunities in robotics to do some hands-on work. Check out to see if you have a local Civil Air Patrol unit, which will give you an opportunity to learn about aviation. And then in high school, see if any of the local schools around you will offer a dual enrollment so that you can actually do things like pursue your general certification for an airframe and power plant, get that part done in high school.
Right.
And then that can help, both defray costs, but also get you into what aspect of this great industry or any industry might I be more interested in. So it's about nurturing that spirit throughout the K through 12 pipeline.
Wow, that's a mouthful. So listen, Jewel and Maria, Joshua, and Boyan, I wish you all the very best in terms of your career pursuits and your continued education here at Vaughn for those who aren't quite done yet, and that you guys do great things in our industry, which is just blowing up in terms of the opportunities that we've been talking about. You've probably heard about and everything, but I do wish you all the best, and thank you very much for taking the time to participate in this show. So. Chaundra, thank you so much for your wisdom on careers and how that applies and what you guys specifically do for these students here at Vaughn College. Sharon, I can't thank you enough for helping put all of this together because we've been working on this for a while. You wouldn't know it from the technical stuff, but we have.
And isn't that ironic that it's now working perfectly?
Right. But Vince, we want you. Well, Vince, you could come back. You could come. I would love to invite you to come back.
Yes.
Well,
and
thank
speak
you.
with our students from a professional point of view, where you're not doing all the technical stuff. We'll ask you the questions because I think you're a valuable asset to the aviation industry, and would love for our students to hear your profession and what you've done in your career. So we would love to have you back.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. And you're right. It's working perfectly now. What the hell?
Of course.
Sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry. That just came out of me. I'm like, really? You're going to let me do an hour show and then you're going to act right?
Then you're going to act right.
God.
The irony.
The irony is something. But no, it's been great. And this is a really great school. And I really meant what I said at the beginning. This could be a template for schools around the country to do this for the underserved in a lot of the cities around the country. They could take what you guys do almost verbatim and just apply it and give these kids opportunities in other areas of the country.
We have a great ecosystem in New York City.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, New York is New York, right?
Yeah.
So, and Queens.
No other place like it. No other place like it.
Well, that's for darn sure. You know, I'm going to clean up my language a little bit. Listen, thank you everybody for being, as everyone should know, in addition to celebrating Juneteenth, this coming Sunday is Father's Day. So in honor of all the aviation dads out there, I'm actually on Friday morning, myself included, on Friday morning, I'm going to talk with 3 dads and their sons about their careers and their lives in aviation. So that ought to be pretty interesting to hear what they have to say and what their experiences have been and everything and that type of thing. All things aviation and aerospace webcast videos are available on Private Air Media YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. The audio-only podcast version is also going to be available on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to your podcast. I said going to be, it is available now. If you haven't already, I'd ask that you please subscribe, follow, whatever the terminology is for an old man like me. Until next time, please take care, stay safe flying if you're a pilot like me, and blue skies. All the best, and everyone, have a good one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.